Good evening. This is Family Life Update, and I'm Maricel Badilla.
I'm Bianca Heliro, and here are this week's top news for family and life.
In the Philippines, the church will hold a prayer vigil as the RH law goes before the Supreme Court. Last week,
yes.
We said on July 9, we'll be at a prayer rally in front of the Supreme Court. It's front and center. I'll be there. If you're going, look for me.
Just look for Javi, the guy in purple.
You know what? Speaking of purple, I think these RH
I was
people,
about to ask you, why are you wearing purple? Isn't that for the other side?
They've totally corrupted the color purple. It's terrible. I mean, you have Barney, who's with children and all that, and then these RH people say that it's...
You have Debo.
Yeah, Debo the gift dragon. He gives gifts, make people feel good. But the RH law is not a gift at all. It's dastardly. Father Melvin Castro said in an interview over Church on Radio Veritas that the intention of the prayer vigil is for the High Court to consider the controversial RH law as unconstitutional. Because the Constitution protects the family.
Yes.
It's very, very clear there.
And Father Melvin wants also to urge the Catholic to take part in the gathering, noting that it ought to be a prayerful and festive assembly and a positive moment and not meant to criticize.
That's true. You look at the news and all those rallies that we usually see with all the flags and especially now stone throwing. That's not the rally that we're going to have. To be very, very festive, prayerful, and loving, because we're all about love. You know, we love.
And loving is living life to the fullest.
Definitely. Yeah.
The Church's aim is to encourage the faithful to reiterate their firm opposition to the law, signed in secret by President Noynoy Aquino on December 21, 2012.
That was
what does that mean?
That was his Christmas gift to us. The birth of Jesus, our Savior. He signed the RH law. That's terrible. It's a secret because no one knew about it. Even that whole process, the second reading, third reading, all of that, it was done rush. Usually you have a few days in between voting, but you know it's terrible. Then he signed it without any hoopla. You think if you're proud of something, you tell the whole world. But obviously, he's not proud of it.
He was very conniving about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, and like we said earlier, the prayer vigil will start at 9 a.m. tomorrow, that's July 9, in front of the Supreme Court.
Yeah. I'll be there.
Look for Javi.
This is a time that we really fight for life. I mean, we've been fighting for life all this time against when it was still a bill, and now the Supreme Court is giving us a chance to be heard to say whether it's unconstitutional or not. So it's really our time to be there as well.
And I think it's divine intervention also, if you think about it, because since you said, you know, they railroaded everything, did everything under the table. So this is maybe the best opportunity for the Catholics and for the rest of the Philippines to show that, you know, they're not too hot on.
We're not pushovers.
Yes.
Yeah, and we're taking back the color purple.
For Barney and
Debo.
Yes. On other news, Philippine delegation to World Youth Day leaves for Brazil this week. Hundreds of Filipino youth delegates are going to Brazil starting this week for the World Youth Day, or WYD, that's happening from July 23 to 28, 2013.
They must be so excited.
Yeah. How many times have you attended?
3 actually. I went to one in Rome. It wasn't a World Youth Day outside Rome Day. I went to Canada, Toronto, and went to Madrid a few years ago. Yeah. Okay. And I remember a few days before leaving, I was really excited. So I can just imagine how excited they are.
My World Youth Day experience was here in the Philippines when Pope John Paul came.
I didn't go there. That's actually during my dark years.
Your dark days, yeah.
When,
I would expect that.
When people were coming here, I actually went to Bacolod to get away.
Oh, okay.
That's a different story. It's for a different show.
I came from a gimmick with my friends and went straight to the grandstand.
Oh, really?
And my friends were falling asleep and I was like, Amen! Yeah, alright.
If I could go back in time, I wouldn't have missed it.
Anyway, the Episcopal Commission on Youth, or ECY Philippines delegation, consisting of 182 youth pilgrims, is the official country delegation to the WYD.
That's actually a lot of people considering it's all the way in Brazil. That the airfare is it's a huge sum. So that's a lot of people.
And apart from the ECY delegation, the other dioceses also chose to send their own delegations, including those from Novaliches, Cubao, Manila, and Cebu. And approximately, this brings the total delegates to about 310 World Youth Day delegates, not counting still those Filipino youth pilgrims from other schools, parishes, communities, congregations, and organizations who may have chosen to send delegates on their own.
even our community, CFC FFL, we're sending a bunch, like
How
two
many?
big groups, about 60 maybe. Yeah, and a couple of them are volunteers. During the World Youth, they'll be volunteers. So it's very impressive, considering that they speak Portuguese there.
And I heard about the fundraising activities and the exciting activities and the prizes that you had.
It was a good raffle that we had.
I think that's a very creative way of raising funds.
When God is involved and the youth are involved, you get a lot of support. And no less than the president of the CBCP of the Philippines and Cebu Archbishop Jose Palma will be joining the Filipino pilgrims to the World Youth Day. 3 other Philippine bishops are also attending the World Youth Day, like Legazpi Bishop Joel Bailon, who we know very, very well, Kabangkalan Bishop Patricio Buzon, and Malolos Bishop Jose Oliveros. The ECY Philippines delegation is expected to depart for Rio from July 13 to July 15 in time for the Missionary Week, which will be held from July 17 to 21. It's like their days in the diocese. They used to call it Days of the Diocese when we went to Madrid and the World Youth Days beforehand. Now it's like Missionary Week.
Okay.
Because I think you're being a missionary to that diocese, you're being hosted by local families.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, yeah. And when we were in Madrid, our host families were very, very, very open and very nice to us. They fed us all the time.
Did you have to speak Spanish or?
Actually, yes. So, ¿cómo estás? The Diocese of Petropolis will host the ECY Philippines delegation during the Missionary Week. It was from Madrid. Coming back, I was really inspired. Even at my age, I was like 36, 35 at that time. It still inspires me. And I'm sure these people will be very, very inspired.
Is the registration still open or?
I have no idea actually. Maybe we can check worldyouthday.org. Yeah, we can check that. We'll get back to you on that. Moving on to our next news story, Asia is to rise as the world's top arms importer.
I wonder if that's something to be proud of.
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, you just look in the States and then you see all these shootings in the schools, and which is terrible. Everybody condemns it, and then here we are. We want the same thing for our country and our region.
So what's it all about?
Yeah, military spending in the Asia Pacific region, which includes China, India, and Indonesia, will rise 35% to $501 billion in the next 8 years. Asian countries are outspacing the United States to become the biggest spenders on defense. And they are fueling the biggest explosion in global arms trade that the world has ever seen. Sales are booming, and I'm not very happy.
That's being literal.
Yeah.
It's really booming.
Do they expect a world war coming up soon? I don't know.
Maybe they're preparing for World War Z.
Have you watched it?
Yes.
I mean,
That's so scary.
why else would you build up your defenses? Because you expect someone to attack you. I mean,
or you're preparing for something that's gonna happen.
And if you see World War Z, nothing can protect you. So what's the point? I mean, the point is to live good lives, to love one another, and to have mutual respect for one another.
Exactly, and use the resources in the proper way.
Yeah.
Like putting food on the table, sending children to school.
Yeah, definitely. It's really scary.
And today, China is already the world's 5th largest arms exporter, while India is the world's biggest weapons importer.
Wow. I mean, these are our neighbors, and it's pretty scary. We need some pick-me-up. And so on the lighter side, we bring you our feature topic this week, which I'm sure you learned a lot from, talking about life and all that, and families. Let's just give it to Maricel Badilla to tell us more about it.
Thank you, Happy and Bianca. Good evening, friends. This week, we bring you another interesting feature, Pursuing Porsuelo. Porsuelo? Who's that? What's that? We'll let you know later. The United Nations World Population Day is annually observed every July 11. It aims to increase people's awareness on various population issues, such as the importance of family planning. And so today, for our feature story, we bring you a natural family planning method that is proudly Philippine-made and highly endorsed by no less than our beloved Blessed John Paul II. Let me introduce to you the Porsuelo method.
The early history of modern natural family planning, or NFP, in the Philippines is largely unknown to many. The earliest known practitioner and promoter of NFP in the Philippines is a grassroots couple hailing from Camp Phillips, Bukidnon. In the 1960s, employees of Del Monte asked for the help of nuns in learning family planning because of their growing families. The nuns asked a Jesuit priest, who in turn responded by inviting professionals and experts in family planning. Every Saturday night, for a period of 3 months, professionals and experts in NFP taught them basal body temperature method or BBT and the calendar method. Somehow, the seminar failed. However, a couple, Tatay Eli and Nanay FLiQ Porsuelo, as they are fondly called, persisted on their own and began to develop and practice the NFP in a way that is simple and easy to understand. Nanay FLiQ learned the mucus ovulation method from her mother in 1963 and the BBT from a nun. Using the methods on themselves as the pilot couple, they combined the two methods, simplified and documented it in their own way. Seeing how simple and effective the resulting method was, they shared and taught couples in their neighborhood, in their parish, and in their diocese. With this method, they were able to reach 4,000 couples through their networking approach, but ensuring that proper documentation was complied with. Through the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines Episcopal Commission on Family Life, the Vatican got to know about the Porsuelos' homegrown NFP technology and invited Eli and FLiQ Porsuelo to explain the technology they had developed. FLiQ proudly showed the Holy Father her 15-year chart. The Porsuelos were cross-examined by an international panel of doctors in several sessions, a test which they passed with flying colors. The Pope later referred to Nanay FLiQ as a scientist. The Porsuelo couple was placed side by side with Dr. John Billings, developer of the Billings ovulation method. Eventually, the Vatican appointed them to the Pontifical Council of the Family to represent the Philippines, a position they held for 10 years, during which time the Church got their valuable inputs towards understanding the true nature of NFP and how it advances Humanae Vitae values that strengthen marriage. They were then the only Filipino couple in the Pontifical Council for Family and Life. Although the Porsuelos started with a BBT, they eventually saw the advantage of teaching the 4 modern methods in order to ensure that the couples will be able to effectively manage their fertility, given the peculiarities of the woman's menstrual cycle. It also gave women more options for tracking their fertility. The Porsuelo experience adheres to the following key biological facts regarding the reproductive system. 1. Life begins at fertilization when the male sperm meets the female ovum in the fallopian tube. 2. Women's menstrual cycle spans the period of time from the first day of menstruation to the day before the start of another menstruation. Menstrual cycles can either be short, 14 to 26 days, moderate, 27 to 32 days, or long, 33 days or more. 3. The mucus discharge and the rise in body temperature are basically symptoms of ovulation and hence of the onset of the fertile period. 4. The sperm can survive for 2 to 3 days within the woman's uterus, hence the need to avoid marital contact 2 to 3 days before ovulation. On the other hand, the ovum has a lifespan of 1 day, and each ovary produces 1 ovum in every cycle. However, since there are 2 ovaries which can both ovulate within the same cycle, it is important to avoid marital contact within 4 days after ovulation. 5. The objective of natural family planning is to determine the woman's infertile period between ovulation and her next menstruation, which can last from 11 to 16 days. 6. When the woman's cycle lengthens, NFP also helps determine the infertile period between menstruation and ovulation. However, charting for 1 year is needed in order to establish the pattern. Pope John Paul II was the first and avid promoter of the Porsuelo experience that originated from the Philippines. He had a special affection for Nanay FLiQ. Anything related on the subject of NFP, the late Pope would refer to Nanay FLiQ. Nanay FLiQ, in spite of her age now of 78 and now a widow, is still a member of the Episcopal Commission on Family Life as their consultant. She has been sharing her NFP experience to priests and religious in the Archdiocese of Manila. Nanay FLiQ continues to declare that the Porsuelo experience is not aimed at family planning, but rather marital intimacy. The focus is the renewal and deepening of the sacrament of marriage and a never-ending honeymoon stage. For indeed, she has seen many marital intimacy hindered by fear and anxiety, and many indeed have totally inhibited themselves from it.
Thanks to Nang FLiQ and the late Nong Eli Porsuelo, through them, the Philippines has given the Church and the world this beautiful gift called the Porsuelo method. The challenge is raising awareness and education to more couples and more people, both the religious and the lay, who are involved in family and life ministries about this Catholic alternative to family planning. There was even a very inspiring anecdote when, in one breakfast at the Vatican, Nang FLiQ was asked by His Holiness Pope John Paul II on what she thought was the success of the Family Life program. And Nang FLiQ said that it is successful when couples accept the child no matter how or when the child comes. It could not have been said in any better way. And pursuing the Porsuelo method is certainly the way to go for us couples who want the honeymoon to last forever. So, if you want the honeymoon to last forever, let's pursue the Porsuelo method. Remember, our children are God's blessings to us, and they deserve only the best. This is Maricel Badilla for Family and Life Update. Thank you for watching. I turn you over back to Javi and Bianca.
Thank you, Sel. I truly learned a lot about that.
Natural family planning is one of the best ways. I mean, you don't need to do contraception or use contraceptives. The natural family planning are very effective.
And there are so many ways
to choose the natural method.
Plan your family the natural way.
Especially from Nanay FLiQ, because she's Filipina and it's her method. She's from Bukidnon, as we heard. And, it might be the best for us Pinoys. Yeah. That's it this week. Read more about these stories at FamilyLifeUpdate.com. We are on Facebook too, just search Family Life Update. On Twitter, it's @officialfamily.
Thanks for watching us share the word about us, Family and Life Update.
Know the issues, make a stand, follow Family Life Update. And for our quote this week from George Bernard Shaw, the Irish playwright, happy family is an earlier heaven. Good night, God bless you and your families.